He used all his money to buy a new hairstyle, but during the race he realized that the car ran out of fuel. In order to finish the race, the boy had to go to the end of the race. At the beginning of the race, the drivers start to crash wildly. Whenever a participant's car is destroyed, his equipment will be turned into gold coins and fall down, so Paul can pick them up to refuel his car. However, the obstacles on the track are not only other drivers but also randomly appearing sledgehammers, and suddenly broken bridges instantly eliminated 80% of the players. But the biggest obstacle is the two giants of the movie world, the Tyrannosaurus Rex from Jurassic and King Kong from Skull Island. The players who had been in the lead were instantly destroyed by these two giants, and Paul, who had been devastated by his equipment, became the first by picking up the pieces, while David was cheering him on. King Kong leapt from the roof of the building and destroyed the track. Despite being so close to victory, Paul had no choice but to give up. But then a motorcyclist came up behind him, and despite the danger he was in, he tried to take off on a broken rail. Paul knew that this could not be done, so he immediately rushed out to stop it. The motorcycle is crushed by King Kong and all the competitors fail, but they're used to it because no one has crossed the finish line in 5 years. But even so, people are still enjoying it because if they succeed, they'll instantly become the richest man in the world. It turns out it's 2045, and after several catastrophes, nearly half of the planet's population has disappeared, and the survivors are having an even harder time of it. Luckily, a genius VR, Halliday invented a smart game called Oasis, which only requires a set of VR equipment to turn people into the characters they want to be, so they can explore the entire universe without leaving their homes, fight monsters, upgrade, fall in love, and climb into Everest with Batman. In short, in real life, there are all the things there, so the game was released in the world, and Halliday became the world's richest man. But unfortunately, not long after he died tragically, but before he died, he planted an egg in the game. 3 keys for 3 levels, and whoever could pass all of them would inherit all the shares of the Oasis, worth $500 billion. Who could resist the temptation of such a reward? So countless players flocked to the game in search of the egg. Paul is even more desperate because in reality he is just a poor boy with his sister-in-law living in the slums. But in the game he is a top expert. His best friend David is also an egg hunter, and they both hope to change their lives by playing the game. But it's not just ordinary gamers who are looking for eggs. It's also the unscrupulous IO Corporation. The president of IO, Nolan, has assembled an army of think tanks and hunters, and he's determined to win the Oasis egg. But 5 years later, not even the first level of the game had been passed, so Paul came to the Oasis library for the 1001st time, because it was the place where the founder, Halliday, had lived his life. He had studied thousands of videos, but this episode was the only one he found strange. He analyzed it over and over again, and even the curator got impatient. But just as he was leaving with disappointment, Halliday's words inspired him. Paul immediately took off his glasses and almost let his heart explode with excitement. So he had found the secret to pass the level. It's a race that can turn your life around. When the green light comes on, all the cars go as they always do, but this guy stays put. Instead, he puts it in reverse and goes backward. He's about to hit the rock-solid fence, but he pushes the gas to the floor, which triggers the hidden track. He saw countless obstacles rise up around him, turning them from data into reality, and he watched as if he was on fire as the players were being abused in the hidden track, while he himself crossed the finish line from under the crotch of the monster. And even Donkey Kong could only stare in disbelief. And then Paul meets Anoke, Halliday's avatar. He's finally gotten his wits about him and got the first key and the clue to the second level. As soon as his name appeared on the screen, he became the hottest guy in the Oasis, and all the players were impressed. Even Anna took the initiative and became his teammate. And then we studied the second clue together. It said, "I regret not taking that step." Paul remembered that in the library, Halliday had mentioned his first love, and that was the only time he had ever called her by her first name. Seeing that Paul was so confident, the director of the library was not happy, because how could such an important person be mentioned only once? So he bet with Paul. As a result, Paul was right. It turned out that Mrs. Halliday did not want to talk about the sadness of the past. In order to reward Paul, the curator gave him a coin, which is the most important prop in the future. Anna was suddenly inspired to ask Paul to meet her at the bar tonight. The boy was so happy that he spent all his gold coins on a super costume and went to the bar. Their gorgeous dance moves instantly became the most beautiful couple in the venue, and the ambiguous atmosphere immediately made Paul cannot control to confess to the goddess. But he made the biggest mistake of online dating by giving out his real information, not realizing that the IOA spies were listening in. In a matter of moments, the IOA stormed into the ballroom and attacked them. Seeing that the other side of the firepower, Paul can only throw the time. Cube to make the time back 60 seconds before taking Anna to escape from the scene. But what he didn't expect was to be kicked away by Anna. It turns out that Anna and IOA have a father's murder revenge. She did not want to bring danger to the people she loved, so she left alone. However, the next day, Paul received a message from the president of the IOA, who wanted to offer him a job at a high price. Paul did not hesitate to refuse, but did not realize that no one's...
Yeah, to watch the continuation of the part 2 of this movie, don't forget to subscribe, like and share. Anytime we post our new videos or movie series, you will be the first person to see.